What's poppin', y'all? Today I want to cover one of the dumbest themes and stories of the past couple of weeks that's been propagated multiple times by multiple different people, and the most famous person to propagate this is Andrew Tate. And it's that Ice Spice is like worshiping the devil, and she was at the Super Bowl throwing up devil signs. So I'm gonna play you guys the clip, and then we're gonna talk about this.
All right, bro. On a very serious note, you have someone wearing an upside down cross making devil symbols at the biggest cultural event in American history.
Yeah.
Everything I said about how you can see demons if you pay attention. Did you look at her and think that's a demon? Maybe you didn't, but after listening to this, please pay attention. She is wearing an upside down cross. The Matrix has made her famous. Nobody knows why. It's certainly not because of talent.
I think she's wearing Balenciaga too.
And she's wearing Balenciaga, which we know
child molesters.
Which are child molesters.
Yep.
And she's making devil symbols. What kind of clue are you looking for if those aren't the clues you need? What do you want?
Okay, so you just saw the clip. And the problem with this clip is I hear what's coming out of Andrew Tate's mouth, but I don't believe that he believes what's coming out of his mouth. So he has this whole theme where it's like, hey, you know, like the Matrix, the elites, the people at the top. And it helps him if people believe in this, because then people are going to say, well, you know, he was speaking on freedom, so they decided to attack him and arrest him and put these charges on him. So it benefits him and his image for him to propagate this. But I definitely don't think he believes in it, because he wasn't talking about this stuff years ago. He didn't believe in this stuff. In 2018, if you look back at his stuff, he didn't believe, well, he did to a degree believe that there were elites. Obviously, that's a thing. But somebody like Ice Spice or even a Juice World was a part of it was not something that he would utter. So I think he's just saying this, I won't say as a grift, but because he knows that it's going to go viral and it's going to spread. And Ice Spice is one of the most talked about individuals right now on social media, for better or for worse. So it makes sense. But no, he doesn't believe this. Then what do we get to? Why are people pushing this in the first place? So Ice Spice, she's at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift, and they pan the camera to her. And I think Ice Spice is, I wouldn't say nervous. Yeah, probably she was feeling nervous. And she was like, oh, like, what do I even do? So I think she just moved her hands in a bunch of different ways. And yeah, that was it. The chain that she has on, the upside down cross, that's a gift. It was gifted to her by Opium or Playboy Cardi or somebody. Somebody gave her the chain. She didn't opt into buying that one. The chain that she bought, I think it was like a Powerpuff Girls chain or something like that was modeled after her. So she didn't even buy this chain. And you think like she thought about like, hey, you know, I'm gonna throw up these devils, like Ice Spice, like, please. And this is the issue, like, I'm very skeptical. I won't say conspiratorial, because it's just a demeaning word, you know, it's a slur they use on us, man. I'll say I'm very skeptical, but there are certain people that get so conspiratorial to a level where it just makes me think like, man, you're making us look bad. And this Ice Spice thing is one of it. Just think about it. If you had a society that was very powerful, would you invite Ice Spice? No, I don't know Ice Spice personally. I don't know if just judging by her raps, she's not the brightest lyricist, right? Like, do you think Ice Spice is reading books on the occult and what signs she should be throwing up and what spells and what they mean? And for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Look up Ghostmane, right? This guy was an excellent rapper. Low-key, I couldn't even watch the dude's visuals after a while. I would say 2018, 19, he started to get really, really demonic. But this guy is like an occultist. Like, he studies, he reads these books, Aleister Crowley, all this other stuff. He incorporates it into his music. It's part of his imagery. The guy made good music too, I can't even lie. He came up during the similar time as Lil Peep. But look at this guy, and then look at Ice Spice, and tell me there's any sort of crossover whatsoever. Now, the reason why people don't talk about like Ghostmane doing this is because he's not a very popular mainstream artist. He has a niche, and his music is just not built for mainstream, really. So you have that guy who actually looks into this stuff, who actually reads it. You think Ice Spice is picking this stuff up? And then people are going to say, well, you know, maybe people just told her to throw up these signs. For what? If anything, if she was aware of what she was doing and she knew when to do it, I think it was just to drum up attention. Because every time this happens, everyone jumps on it. And Ice Spice, to the degree, like, let's say we believe in this conglomerate, this cabal, this Illuminati thing that is worshiping the devil, and Ice Spice is now joining them. right? This society can't be ruling if they're letting people like Ice Spice in. And what does it even do for her? For instance, Juice WRLD, right? They said Juice WRLD was doing some sort of a ritual at a music video shoot. This is years ago. I don't know if they put out the music video, but he was saying, oh, we're having a ritual. It was like a circle and there was like candles and fire and stuff like that. Well, Juice WRLD ended up passing away. So if Juice WRLD is working with the people at the top and he was one of the most popular rappers at the time, why would they let someone that's so influential die? Does that add up? No, you want to preserve that person as long as possible. Ice Spice, she is so much smaller than Juice WRLD on the grand scale. Ice Spice is a fad right now. Granted, she's been in the game for at least, a year and a half now? When did Ice Spice really take off? Probably in the beginning of last year. So she's already stayed for a lot longer than people thought. I would say August 2022 is when I first ever heard about Ice Spice, and I think it was Munch at that time. So yeah, she's hanging out with Taylor Swift. I don't know how that friendship works, but I think Taylor Swift likes her. But do people really think like, oh, they're positioning her with Taylor Swift? And if we take a look at Ice Spice's music, right? It's not even that, it's not evil music. Like if you said Sexy Red, right? And she's throwing up these signs and you're drawing to these conclusions, I would say you have more of a point than the Ice Spice situation, because Sexy Red is propagating degeneracy at the highest level. So if she's also throwing up demonic symbols, then I can understand you coming to that conclusion. I would still disagree with it, because why would anybody have Sexy Red on their team, for lack of a better word? But with Ice Spice, she's kind of just like, yeah, she's twerking, but really when you see Ice Spice, she's just kind of fun, brainless, catchy music. And as a personality, she's just likable. It's not really anything special. And then people say like, oh, she's an industry plant. Your lack of, number one, your ignorance and your lack of willingness or ability to research doesn't make somebody an industry plant. Just because you felt like somebody blew up in the past 3 months and you didn't even decide to do a simple Google search, which would take you less than 10 minutes of research, doesn't make them an industry plant. It just means you were either, number one, living under a rock, which I'm not going to attribute that to everyone, or number two, she just didn't reach your sphere of attention, which happens all the time. There are some people that have never heard of Ice Spice still. So if they suddenly hear about her, is she an industry plant? No, you're like, yo, we've heard about Ice Spice for a minute. Ice Spice's journey is well documented. Like you can see way back into her career. And she didn't even come up with like a big producer. You're better off saying 21 Savage is an industry plant, because this guy had production from Zaytoven and Metro Boomin on like his first ever project. And I'm not even talking about the album Savage Mode, I think it was, the one where he had Future on X. I'm talking about early, like the earliest 21 Savage music you can find. The producer that Ice Spice works with, Riot, that guy wasn't even famous before her either, and he's still kind of not famous. They just work with each other. And he produced all of her stuff. Probably ask yourself why. Like, why wouldn't Ice Spice get beats from anyone else? If she was an industry plant, they would have her with high-powered producers that make music that are already well known. Ice Spice just happened to make the right moves. She got poppin', and now she's out of here. And I think a lot of it had to do with that wig that she had on, or that she still kind of has on. I don't know who told her to put that on, but that was a really good move. So yeah, no, Ice Spice is not no devil worshiper. I don't even think Ice Spice knows a chance to worship the devil. Does that go on? Yeah, if you had to tell me like MGK, I definitely think he's probably on that right now. He's doing all those blood stuff. Now, do I believe in that? That's another question. I believe it's a thing. I believe people engage in it. Do I believe it's as powerful as everyone wants to give it or credit for? No. Because if you're going to believe that, then you're going to believe that, God is also a force too. So why would the devil be a stronger force? So I don't think it's something that should be feared. Do I think evil's being propagated? Yes. But I think it's a mirror on society as well. Like you can only push something so hard that people are repulsed by or not drawn to until it just stops working eventually. So if it's working, then people want to see it, want to hear it. And I don't really think Ice Spice is that bad. Like her music, sure, it's not good, but she's not the worst thing that's like come out in the past couple of years. But let me know what y'all think about this. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.